Live from the historic Ham Building in St. Paul, it's the Haberdasher's Couch. I'm Kendrick, inviting you to the show, starring Heimie and Dorsett, featuring Todd Walker, also featuring Amey Scharlau. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Heimie.
Hey! Happy New Year! I haven't seen you for a long time, but I tell you what, we're back on the circuit, we're back doing fashion, we're back selling suits. We are here to stay. Heimie's is celebrating 2021. Keith, come on out.
Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, Keith. It's good to see you.
You see that?
I tell you, you got it? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, that might be what you do in the New Year.
Yeah.
So, Keith,
Yeah.
I've been thinking, asking myself, what is a New Year's resolution? Have you thought about that?
No, I'm doing now.
I figure it's something that goes in one year and out the other. Ba-da-bum. Boom! Hey!
Never change.
Better than fashion. Better than fashion.
Nothing's better than fashion. Hold on.
Speaking of fashion, we got wedding season.
Yes.
Tell me what a tip is for planning your wedding heading into 2021, the spring of 2021, here at Heimie's, and tell them a little bit about what we got going on with our new custom program. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
first of all, we got a program. Kiss the Groom.
Kiss the Groom. Now, is that something that you and I do, or is it something? Okay. So, what is Kiss the Groom, Keith?
We're taking care of the groom.
Yeah, I like that. We take good care of people.
Because there's been more intimate weddings. We found that the weddings are a little bit more intimate. People are being with the bride and the groom and a few folks.
Right.
I'm the optimist, so I think
You are forever.
weddings will open up. It'll open up. We'll get back to normal. But I think for us, our plan is we take care of the groom because that's what we do.
Right.
So the bride can kiss the groom.
So we're talking good pricing on custom suits. We're talking reservations and maybe even some gatherings here at Heimie's. We're talking cigars and fashion suits, right?
Some softer silhouettes.
Nice.
We're basically taking care of the groom. We look at that person who wants something special. We have some special programs. Just cut this piece here for myself.
So is that all
we're
about the details then?
All details.
Right.
We're not so far out of the box. We're going to have some fun with it.
Monogramming, liners, silhouettes, soft shoulders, right? We're doing it all here at Heimie's. We want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because you deserve it.
Hello and welcome to Coffee Talk and Happy New Year. We are now 2 weeks into the new year and many of you have already broken those New Year's resolutions, but that's okay. It is never too late to turn over a new leaf and start over. One of the best techniques for doing this is called reducing it to the ridiculous. So if you can just imagine what is the smallest meaningful step you can take to make that first change in your life, you can build on that. What happens is your neurons, when you have a habit, they start pulling closer together when you think that thought, and that becomes a habit in your mind. The good news is we can start to break those apart by putting in new habits. Here's a really good example. One of my clients, whenever she got stressed out, would go for a cookie. So these are what her little neurons were doing. Stress cookies, forming that loop. What she did for 1 week is whenever she was stressed, instead of going for that cookie, she went and she stood on her treadmill for 60 seconds. She didn't even start it. She just stood on it. What she was doing is breaking that connection. Now, we have proven this. We have the great neural imaging. You can reprogram your own brain. So what is it that you can do to break down the habit that you want to the smallest habit for your new way of doing things? Is it clearing out maybe a square foot off of the clutter? Is it maybe eating one more serving of greens? Whatever it is, these little steps really add up and you can change your own brain. Let's make 2021 the best. Be good to yourself.
It's Todd About Town, Todd Walker, entertainment, travel, and more. Hey Todd, what's new?
Welcome back to the Haberdasher's Couch. Thanks for tuning in. It's a new year, and I guess we better talk about, we won't talk about New Year's resolutions, but what we're going to get into here is what can we do now that it's 2021? Wasn't there a Prince song, what you were going to party like it's
1999, so we're a
99.
little bit past,
So
we're a little past that.
All right.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking for things to do,
Right.
and so you asked me to stop in and give a little Todd About Town about what's going on out there, right?
Yeah.
Because, it's January, and so many times people look at January and they hibernate and they think of, I'm just going to have to stay in.
Sure.
But besides sledding and ice rinks, there's more ice rinks out there than we've ever had in the state of Minnesota.
Right.
And so many people are building their own ice rinks.
Right.
But I'm here today to challenge you to get out there and do different activities. So I put together a little list of some of the things you can do around the state that I'm wondering if you've done any of them.
Well, I do a lot of things, and I think
Okay.
about doing a lot of things, but I'm going to take your suggestions and go do some of those things.
Okay, that's what I am. And I'm going to push the envelope here, challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. The first is disc golf. Now, I've never played. Have you ever played?
No.
No, come on. You could rent snowshoes.
No, because all those disc guys get all the rights to the park. You get your dog going in the park, they get mad at you,
No,
Todd.
it's actually
Not- I
free.
can't- okay.
It's free.
Maybe you go
can
do a different park.
Yeah, many of them are free. So
All right.
you can go out, you can play disc golf at many of the places right here in St. Paul, up in Highland Park. I mean, they have a disc golf spot set up, and so it's just like playing regular golf.
Yeah.
You take your disc, your
Right.
frisbee, and you toss it, and it's how many times does it take for you to get it in the
Sure.
big net?
And so, do you have to be athletic?
No, this is why I'm saying.
Do I need
this
to
is
stretch
for-
out?
This is for anything for anybody to do.
Huh?
So would you
I
ever
only
do
have
that?
floppy disks.
Okay, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
If you ask me
Okay.
to, I might go with you,
All
but
right,
I
all
don't
right.
know.
So here's another
Sure.
one. It's called Forgotten Star Brewery.
Okay.
And what they've done is they've built an ice rink, and they have all the brewery fixings outside, so you can rent the ice rink for up to 20 people for $100 for an hour. And so you can go out there, you can skate on the ice, then you can go back and sit at the big tables
Right.
and enjoy the brewery, and they have food trucks. And do you like to skate?
I have what they call inverted ankles.
Okay.
And so when I skate, I fall down.
Well, they have those little things that you could hold on to. I think that's what you should do.
I like to skate. I mean, I like
Yeah.
being outside. I think it'd be wonderful.
I love to
That's
skate.
kind of old schooly.
Yeah, I love to skate.
yeah.
So now and there, like I said at the open here, there are so many different ice rinks around.
Do they have skates you can use?
Yes, a lot of the places now have skates
Yeah,
that you
see,
can
that,
use.
that makes a difference.
So I say that's
Right.
something to try.
Yep.
All right, now we are going to move across the state a little bit here to Waconia,
yeah.
and they have a farm that's owned by a family that's had it for many years, and it's called Lovable Llamas. Now you can just go in, you can hang out with the llamas. They give you kind of like an overview of what llamas are and what they eat.
Is that
and all
right
this.
next to Shear Your Sheep?
No, you stumped me on that one. Next to Shear Your Sheep.
I've been to that farm before.
Yeah, it's Love Your Llamas.
Love Your
And
Llamas.
I did a story for Fox once out at the Minnesota Zoo, and it was all about the llamas. And I mean, those things are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So if you want to just go hang with llamas, and you can bring your whole family, you can go to Waconia.
Llama Buddha drama. But I tell you what,
Yep.
did you get something? Can you go to the gift shop and get something furry? Made from the
Made from the llamas?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been. So maybe why don't you go out there and do a field trip? You find out. You come back and report to us next week what they have in the
I might
gift
go
shop.
in with a nice little cap. You never know.
All right.
All right.
So that's Lovable Llamas, and that's
And
in
you can
Waconia.
you have to make an appointment.
You make a reservation, you go
Oh,
right out
yeah.
there and do it. Now, here's the other thing that I think people should do right now. It is wintertime in Minnesota, but there's ways to get out there and embrace the winter,
Sure.
and you can do it and relatively, affordably.
Sure.
A lot of people say, I don't want to go out and I want to buy skis or buy cross-country skis or buy skates.
Yeah.
Well, if you go out to Three Rivers Park District, you can go to Elm Creek, and you can rent the equipment, and it's so inexpensive. Snowshoes are like $5. Downhill skis are $22. So if you have your kids that are going, you know what, I really want a downhill ski,
Sure.
and you go and you buy all the stuff, and then the one season
Right,
goes
one
in,
season,
and they're like, we don't want to do
Right,
this.
right.
So you can go out there, rent the equipment, cross country, downhill, sleds,
Wow.
and snowshoes. Snowshoes $5, and you
Right.
can go hang out. So I think that's something you should do.
Yeah, and I was talking to the famous Amey Scharlau earlier in the show, and we were talking about how we're finding ourselves again, right?
Right.
So if you're able to go out with your family and go skiing and snowshoeing, be with nature.
Yep.
Right. We got a little bit more time on our hands.
Yep.
So these are all really great ideas for to engage again.
Right, to get outside,
Yeah,
to explore in Minnesota.
Nature makes you feel better. Anyway.
Yes, and it's the bold north, and I'm still trying. I'm walking quite a bit outside. I use the treadmill inside, but otherwise I'm like walking because I don't really want to run outside on some of these slippery streets. So I'm sticking.
Is that
to
all
the
you
walking.
got for me?
That's what I've got.
Well, then let's talk a little bit about you, Todd.
All right, sure. What do you want to know?
We talked about New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
I just want to know if they're still meaningful.
Here's my thought on New Year's resolutions. I think it's a good restart, and I always look at the new year as like the restart time. I'm like, I need to, consider some different things to do. Like, 1 year I decided to go back and take classes at Dudley Riggs because I used to do Brave New Workshop.
Right.
And so I was like, and I stuck to it. I'm glad I did it. Yeah. I started journaling again this year because so I've pulled out the journal so I can just kind of reflect, look back, and so that's been a really
Can we do a
healthy deal for me.
Todd journal segment?
Sure, I don't have anything
Like page 7.
interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
But what I did, because I used to carry my journal, and as a travel writer, I do like journaling.
Right,
But what's the greatest thing about it for me is that I look back and oddly enough, 4 years ago, I spent New Year's Day on the Great Wall of China. And so for me, if I hadn't journaled and I could go back and I could look at it, it was actually 5 years ago because I didn't write a story about it, I remember. And so I went back and I was be able to reflect on what that time was like being in China over New Year's. So I'm a big proponent of journaling and to...
Did the Chinese New Year just start?
The Chinese New Year is, yes. Did you? Yes,
Yeah,
I think it is.
I
think it is. I think, yep, it is.
But what a great place to be during a new year.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, China?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But here's one side story I was on the Great Wall on New Year's Day, and I had a guide. I was traveling alone. And it was so cold that my iPhone actually froze, and my guide said, wear literally every piece of clothing that you have, because you won't believe how cold it is on the Great Wall. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did wear like 2 jackets or whatever, but I thought of all times for your iPhone to freeze because you want to capture that moment. But I was able to warm it up enough to get like a couple shots. But it was pretty interesting being there. And doubtful I'll probably ever be back to the Great Wall of China. But it was worth it.
So then next week, you and I are going to talk a little bit about restaurants.
Yeah,
huh?
so many of the restaurants, because we were able to reopen now, I'm going to introduce you to a couple restaurants, a couple of different concepts, and one of them is my new favorite, and it's right on Snelling Avenue in St. Paul.
Okay.
And it's a Philly steak
We're
sandwich.
looking forward.
Yep.
We're looking forward to it. Everybody, I want to thank you for joining in today. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
Always good to see you. And have a good week. We'll see you next week.